Well, they're making a big hullabaloo right now at the Democratic National Convention, and it made me think about all this money that's going there. And I was thinking that instead of sitting here thinking about party lines and if I'm a Democrat, if I'm a Republican, I realized what we really need is somebody who has some gumption and really cares and is not fighting within a two-party joke system and is actually looking beyond that and looking at a bigger picture. And I thought of the situation with money and how it's working, and what sometimes what a joke capitalism appears to be in terms of what it can actually do for the good of the planet. And so I decided to dial up some numbers on past conventions, and the main article that really provided the most meat was a New York Times article that was done in 2004 after the RNC in New York City, where they filed their SEC money, and it was $154 million was cost to stage the event, and the host committee at that time raised $84 million. Now the host committee is supposed to not represent the parties but to represent the city. After Watergate, it was said it should be publicly financed, and then Bloomberg was thrown in everyone's face that it was good news for the city because all the money was raised privately through these host committees. So right away you have this situation that it just doesn't add up. And then you look at some of the money that was spent. $93,000 was spent at the Ritz-Carlton. $301,000 was spent on limos. The stage, or circular stage, was $281,000. $207,000 was spent on balloons during Bush's speech. Both parties received $15 million from the feds. New York spent in excess of cops and other various things $58 million. Who knows what the lawsuits jumped on there. Now private donors, Bloomberg laid out $5 million in cash in addition to $2 million to support legal fees. David Rockefeller $5 million, Goldman Sachs $1.1, Merrill Lynch $1.1, and IBM donated $2.45 million in computer equipment. Why is all this money being spent? They paid out $1.4 million to the chief fundraiser, the Kathy Blaney Associates. I almost hope this doesn't say 11 million, but looking at the numbers, I'm sure it is. The general contract of Dallas, Freeman Company, it could have been 1.1 million. It would still be outrageous. Some of these numbers are unbelievable. The DNC, as far as I'm concerned, although the numbers are a lot more sane, I'm sure they would have wanted, because the whole idea with these host committees is that they want to raise as much money as they want. So they just, as far as I can see, in this system, they're just less successful, and they're not more angelic. And they raised $54 million. $35 million was spent, I guess this is Boston, spent it on police and other things. Of course, the $15 million that they got from the feds. What's going on here? You know, this money is just out of control. In more recent news, the Denver Center said it cost $15 million to hire the center. They had an auxiliary building. And there was a news reporter that got arrested, Asa Eslager from ABC, got arrested when they were investigating where this money's coming from and what's happening here with these private donors for the DNC. And then even the people where I got this article from, the first half, all the 2004 data, $750,000 by the New York Times in ads, and $750,000 on Broadway tickets for the delegates. So what we're looking at here is fiscal irresponsibility to sit here and parade in front of the candidates. What we need is somebody that doesn't work for either side, or someone that's willing to cross party lines and just talk about the predicament that we're in. Let's look at our financial crisis, start managing money more properly. Let's stop giving into this system where we parade around in a showpiece. They could have done the same thing at a fraction of the cost. They certainly don't need these balloons. They certainly didn't need that massive circular stage. They need to come to an agreement together as two different sides that to to end this farce, to end this parade. Never mind all the damage that's going out on the streets with the people, with protesters and people getting upset and cops getting in the middle of it, delegates angry. I was in New York. I saw what happened during the RNC. It was ugly. It was not a family event. It was disgusting. I didn't like either side, the way anyone was behaving. I had to go lock myself in my home to get away from the scene. But that's actually not even the point. Okay? There is definitely a need, and there's definitely a place. Dennis Kucinich was up there last night, and what was he saying? He was saying, you know, talking about the $4 trillion in Iraq. Well, maybe we can start with the millions upon millions. Who knows what the cost of the DNC this year is going to be, and what it's going to be for the Republicans. I mean, wake up, America.